Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a really fascinating deep dive into the psychology of romantic attraction. You know that feeling, right? Why do we instantly click with some people, while others, who look like the perfect match on paper, just give us absolutely zero spark? Well, the source material we're looking at today offers this incredibly insightful psychological framework. It basically suggests that who we fall for has everything to do with the parts of ourselves we keep hidden away. I'm super excited to unpack this with you, so let's just jump right in.
Think about when you first start catching feelings for someone. What is it that actually catches your eye? Are you drawn to their hard-working back? And by that, I mean, do you admire their effort, their politeness, their professionalism, just the way they handle their responsibilities? Or, on the flip side, are you immediately drawn to their relaxed, true face? You know, those unguarded, completely natural moments where they're just being themselves. Believe it or not, your answer to this really simple question reveals a massive amount about your own psychological makeup. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Tatame versus Hanne, attraction. The roots of attraction.
So our source outlines two totally distinct romantic archetypes based on these foundational Japanese concepts. First, we have tatame, which roughly translates to the public facade. It's that polite, socially appropriate mask we all wear. A tatame lover is someone who's initially attracted to that hardworking facade, the sheer effort someone puts into being proper. Then we have hane, which means true feelings, or the genuine self. A hane lover bypasses all the formalities. They are deeply, instantly attracted to a person's relaxed, true self. Let's break down exactly how these two types operate when it comes to romance. Now, what's really fascinating here is the tatame lover's ultimate weakness. If you're a tatame lover yourself, you probably spend a whole lot of your own life reading the room, right? You work hard to accommodate others, and you deeply respect people who do the exact same thing. You love a solid, polite foundation. But because you know firsthand just how heavy that public armor is to carry around all day, your heart completely melts when you see a hardworking person finally let their guard down. When that super capable person has a sudden moment of clumsiness or exhaustion or just raw vulnerability, wow, it deeply moves you. You absolutely fall for that contrast. On the flip side, let's look at the hane lovers. These folks naturally carry a much more relaxed, open energy. They literally hate pretense. To them, that polite tatame facade just feels like unnecessary distance, you know? They want you to just be yourself from day one. But here is the brilliant irony of the hane lover. Because they're so used to casual, unpretentious relationships, they get completely swept off their feet when someone steps up and gives them serious, formal, highly structured support. Like if they're in trouble and someone drops the casual act to take care of them in a very intentional, dedicated way, instant butterflies, no question. Section 2. The eldest child pattern. Always the role model. So how do we get this way? Well, the source points straight to our childhood environments, specifically birth order. The crucial point here is that tatame lovers very often share the psychological profile of an eldest child. If you were the oldest, you were probably always expected to be the responsible role model. You constantly had to put your own true feelings, your hone, on the back burner for your younger siblings or to meet your parents' expectations. And because you've literally spent a lifetime maintaining this responsible facade, subconsciously, you crave a space for healing. Naturally, you want to protect people because, well, that's what you know. But secretly, deep down, you desperately want to be the one who gets pampered. You want permission to finally drop the act. Section 3. The younger child pattern. The free spirit. Now let's flip the script. Younger siblings typically experience a totally different family dynamic. They're often raised in a much freer environment, usually because the older siblings already broke all the rules and tested the boundaries. So they grew up being allowed to express themselves freely. They generally feel minimal guilt when relying on others. And because of this, younger children often become hane lovers. They just don't see the need for a public mask. They seek out unpretentious, natural relationships, and they fully expect the people around them to just be real. But actually, don't mistake this for them being superficial. They highly, highly value underlying trust and sincerity. They just want to get straight to it without jumping through all those formal hoops. And this brilliantly illustrates the core differences between the two types. It's like looking at a map of how our early roles shape our romantic triggers. The eldest, or tatame lover, suppresses their own vulnerabilities, right? So their attraction is triggered by seeing someone else's hidden weakness. It basically gives them permission to feel their own. The younger, or hone lover, suppresses formal boundaries, so their attraction triggers when they feel truly safe, grounded, and unconditionally accepted by someone providing a really strong foundation.
You can really start to see how romantic compatibility is essentially just puzzle pieces fitting perfectly into our childhood experiences. Section 4. Projecting past family dynamics. Projecting the past.
Okay, this brings us to a major pivot in this explainer. Listen closely to this quote because it is the emotional thesis of the entire source material. People love those who release what they have suppressed. Let that sink in for a second. The reason you feel that crazy, inexplicable, magnetic pull toward a specific person isn't just about their nice smile or their sense of humor. It's deeply tied to the psychological relief they offer you. They are literally living out loud the exact emotions or traits that you were forced to bury a long time ago.
Essentially, what we're talking about here is projection. Our romantic tastes are projections of our past. We're subconsciously seeking out partners who mirror the safe, comforting figures from our childhood. So if a strong older sibling occasionally showed you a moment of vulnerability, you're going to look for a really capable partner who shows you their soft side. Or, alternatively, we look for partners who can fulfill the parts of ourselves we left completely empty. If you were never ever allowed to be irresponsible or emotionally messy as a kid, you might find yourself unbelievably drawn to someone who freely expresses their messy emotions. Why? Because they're giving a voice to your own silenced inner child. So let's look at how this builds into the actual progression of intimacy. Step 1 is encountering that public mask, that initial tadame. Step 2 happens when you finally get a glimpse of their hone, their hidden true self. But the real magic, that happens at step 3, feeling safe to unmask yourself. True attraction isn't just about figuring out who the other person is. It's about your own instincts realizing, okay, in front of this person, I am finally allowed to take off this mask I've been wearing all day, or maybe even my whole life.
Section 5. Unmasking your true self. Finding connection.
So, how do we actually use all this to build better relationships? Well, the source material comes with a really important caveat. There is a super fine line between a fulfilling connection and an unhealthy dependency. A fulfilling connection happens when you already have a solid personal foundation. You're drawn to someone's hidden self because you actually have the emotional bandwidth to hold space for it. But if you're empty inside and you're demanding that a partner drop their mask just to fill a void in your own life, that's when we cross into codependency territory. To safely accept someone else's true face, you gotta be relatively secure in your own. You just can't expect romance to entirely fix your past. The beautiful takeaway from this explainer is that neither the Tadame lover nor the Hane lover is the right or wrong way to be. They're just different emotional languages. And understanding your specific type turns that incredibly painful mystery of why it didn't work out with my ex into a clear, actionable map for your future relationships. When you know for a fact that you require a strong facade to drop, or that you absolutely need immediate authenticity backed by serious support, you stop trying to force connections that just don't match your psychological wiring. You understand your own feelings so much better, and that empowers you to build relationships on a genuinely solid foundation.
I want to leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought. If romance is truly a journey to unmask and find your true self, what is your current attraction telling you about what you secretly need? Think about the person you're drawn to right now. What are they releasing that you have suppressed? Honestly, the answer might just change the way you look at love entirely. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really encourage you to reflect on your own patterns, and I will see you next time.